Jack Murphy sat at his desk in the Earth Defense Force headquarters. His coffee mug was empty for the third time that morning. The screen in front of him showed reports about strange readings from deep space scanners. Something was not right. The door opened and Admiral Patricia Hayes walked in. She looked tired. Dark circles showed under her eyes. Murphy knew she had been working late again. "Did you see the new data from Mars Station?" Murphy asked. Hayes nodded. 3 more alien ships detected near the outer system. They're not answering. Our hails. Murphy frowned. These visitors had been coming more often in the past months. Earth made first contact with aliens 5 years ago. At first, things were good. Trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and shared knowledge. But lately, something changed. Ambassador Lisa Bennett's face appeared on the wall screen. She was calling from the Galactic Council station. Her image flickered a bit from the long-distance transmission. "Admiral, Commander Murphy, I have urgent news from the council meeting." "What happened?" Hayes asked, standing up straight. Bennett sighed. "They're talking about Earth again. The Vandari delegation is pushing for new restrictions on our space travel. They say we're expanding too fast." Murphy felt his jaw tense. The Vandari were tall reptilian beings with silver scales. They acted like the police force of the galaxy. They thought every other species needed their guidance. "What kind of restrictions?" he asked. "They want to limit our ships to our solar system only. No travel beyond Neptune without council approval." Hayes slammed her fist on the desk. "That's ridiculous. They can't lock us in our own backyard." "That's not all," Bennett continued. "Council member Zerax called humans primitive warmongers who didn't evolve enough for space civilization." Several other species agreed. "They think we're dangerous." Murphy looked at Hayes. They both knew this was coming. Earth had made some enemies when they refused to hand over their new shield technology last year. The council wanted to control who got which inventions. Earth said no. "Did anyone speak for us?" Hayes asked. The Kelvin ambassador tried. But the Vandari have too much influence. Most species just stay quiet when the Vandari speak. Murphy's mind raced. Earth had been building its defensive capability secretly. They knew not everyone in the galaxy was friendly. The timing of these restrictions felt planned. "What's our next move?" he asked. Bennett glanced around on her end. "I'm sending you encrypted files. The Vandari are building up their fleet near the Orion Nebula. Our intelligence picked up supply, shipments, and troop movements." Hayes stood up and walked to the window. Outside, young pilots practiced flying maneuvers. Earth's newest fighters zoomed through training courses. "They're getting ready for something," she said slowly. Murphy pulled up star maps on his screen. The Orion Nebula was 3 months' travel from Earth. Perfect staging ground for an attack or for applying pressure. "We need to warn the president," he said. Hayes nodded. "And step up our preparations. If the council won't listen to reason, we need to be ready." Bennett's image leaned forward. "There's more. I overheard 2 Vandari officers talking. They mentioned a deadline. Something about the Earth problem needing a solution before their next cycle begins." "When's that?" Murphy asked. 6 weeks. The room fell silent. 6 weeks to prepare for whatever the Vandari planned. Hayes activated her communication link. "General Walsh, please report to my office. Bring the defense protocols." Murphy started gathering the latest intelligence reports. Earth had allies among some alien species. The Kelvins, who looked like walking trees, often traded with humans. Some Grokan merchants liked Earth's metalwork. But would they stand with Earth if things got serious? "We need to call a cabinet meeting," Hayes said after Bennett signed off. "The president needs to know everything." Murphy nodded. He thought about his daughter who was studying at the Lunar Academy. His wife worked on the Mars terraforming project. If war came, nowhere would be safe. "Do you think they'll really attack us?" he asked. Hayes turned from the window. Her expression was hard. "The Vandari don't bluff. They've crushed 3 developing species in the past 50 years, all for maintaining galactic order." Murphy pulled up the files Bennett sent. Battle plans, ship movements, and coded messages filled his screen. The Vandari were preparing for major action. "So we prepare too," he said. General Kevin Walsh entered the room. He was a big man with a thick beard. He carried data tablets under his arm. "Seems like we have a situation," he said, not asking but stating. "The Vandari are moving," Hayes explained. "The Council is trying to restrict our movements. We might have 6 weeks before they make their move." Walsh's face darkened. "Then we use every minute. I've been reviewing our defensive networks. Earth's orbital platforms are ready. Our new stealth frigates finished their test runs last week." Murphy felt a mix of fear and determination. Earth wasn't the weak planet the Council thought. 2 generations of secret military research gave humanity some surprises to share if needed. "What about the civilian population?" Walsh asked. "We keep this quiet for now," Hayes decided. "No need to start a panic, but we begin moving some key research facilities to the underground bunkers on Luna." Murphy thought about all the breakthroughs Earth made in recent years. Fusion power, quantum computing, and nanotech weapons that the Council didn't know about. Isolation forced innovation. "I'll contact our agents on Vandari Prime," he offered. "See if we can get more intel on their plans." Hayes nodded. "Do it. And Murphy, make sure our best pilots start getting more training hours, just in case." As Murphy left the office, he thought about the mistake the Vandari were making. They saw Earth's quarreling nations and assumed humans couldn't work together. They thought Earth's industrial capability meant nothing without experience. They were wrong. The warning signs were clear now. The Council underestimated humanity's unity when threatened. They didn't understand how quickly humans adapted, and they didn't know about the weapons being built in secret. Earth wouldn't start a war. But if someone else did, humanity would fight back with everything they had. Murphy returned to his desk and began making calls. The real preparations were just beginning, and the Vandari would learn what happened when someone tried to cage humanity. The USS Explorer drifted toward the massive alien ship. Captain Ryan Mitchell stood on the bridge. His hands gripped the railing as he watched the view screen. The alien vessel was 10 times larger than his ship. It glowed with blue lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Dr. Carter, any new readings?" he asked. Dr. Elizabeth Carter looked up from her science station. Her blonde hair was tied back in a tight bun. She had been studying alien cultures for 20 years. This was her first real contact. "Their ship is definitely peaceful," she said. "No weapon systems active. They're sending greeting signals." Commander Nathan Brooks paced behind them. As security chief, he didn't like situations he couldn't control. His hand rested on his sidearm out of habit. "Captain, we should keep our shields ready," Brooks warned. Mitchell nodded. "Agreed. But let's not be the ones who start something." The alien ship sent a docking request. Mitchell approved it. Within minutes, a small shuttle detached from the large vessel. It looked like a silver teardrop. The shuttle approached Explorer's main airlock. "All personnel to docking bay," Mitchell ordered through the ship's communication system. "Diplomatic Protocol 7. In the docking bay, Mitchell waited with Dr. Carter and Brooks. 30 crew members lined the walls in dress uniforms. They had practiced this moment many times, but practice felt different from reality. The airlock hissed open. 3 tall figures stepped through. They stood 7 feet high. Their skin was blue-gray. 4 arms extended from their torsos. Their eyes were large and black. The lead alien wore a golden sash across its chest. "Greetings," the alien said in mechanical English. "I am Speaker Vorth of the Tellan Empire. We come to welcome Earth to the galactic community." Mitchell stepped forward. "Captain Ryan Mitchell of the USS Explorer. We are honored by your visit." Vorth's head tilted. Mitchell wondered if that meant confusion or acknowledgement. Alien body language was hard to read. "Your species is young," Vorth said. "You require guidance." Carter felt tension rise in the room. That sounded patronizing, but she kept smiling. This was about diplomacy. "We're always eager to learn," she said carefully. Vorth gestured with 2 arms. "Come aboard our ship. We have prepared cultural exchange materials." Mitchell looked at Brooks. The security chief nodded slightly. They had protocols for this. "Dr. Carter will join you with a security team," Mitchell said. "No weapons," Vorth stated. "Not a request." Brooks stepped forward. "That's not acceptable. Our security team carries stunners only. Forth's large eyes blinked slowly. The Tellan Empire does not allow primitive weapons on our vessels. The word primitive hung in the air. Mitchell saw crew members shifting uncomfortably. This wasn't starting well. Perhaps we could meet in a neutral location, Carter suggested. Your shuttle bay is acceptable, Forth agreed after a pause. 20 minutes later, both sides sat at a hastily assembled conference table. Forth's companions remained standing. They hadn't introduced themselves. Cultural difference or subtle insult? We must discuss your expansion into space, Forth began. Your species progresses too quickly. We've only reached our nearest neighboring systems, Mitchell said. Exactly. Most species explore their home system for centuries before venturing further. Forth produced a glowing tablet. The Galactic Council has established guidelines for proper development. Carter studied the tablet. Rules about technology sharing, space travel limits, and required approvals filled the screen. These rules weren't mentioned in previous communications, she noted. You were not considered a true spacefaring species until now, Forth explained. Brooks saw his captain's jaw tighten. These aliens acted like they owned the galaxy. We appreciate your concern, Mitchell said slowly. But Earth has its own way of doing things. Forth's head turned fully toward Mitchell. The movement was unnatural. Your way leads to chaos. The Council maintains order. 17 species have benefited from our guidance. And how many chose not to accept it? Brooks asked. Silence filled the room. Forth stared at Brooks for long seconds. Those who reject wisdom face consequences. Carter quickly intervened. Perhaps we could start with smaller agreements, technology exchange, trade partnerships. Forth's tablet changed displays. New rules appeared about what Earth could and couldn't trade. Your military technology must be regulated. Your quantum computers must be limited. Your genetic research must stop immediately. Mitchell stood up. His chair scraped loudly against the floor. You're trying to cripple our development. We are preventing your destruction, Forth corrected. Young species always overreach, they always fall. Brooks moved closer to Mitchell. He sensed danger in Forth's tone. What if we politely decline these restrictions? Mitchell asked. Forth stood as well. His full height made everyone look up. Declining is not an option. The Council has voted. Earth will comply or face isolation. Isolation might be better than servitude, Mitchell responded. The tension in the room crackled like electricity. Carter tried once more to calm the situation. Maybe. We need more time to consider. Time is not unlimited, Forth interrupted. The Council expects your answer within 1 Earth month. Mitchell looked at his crew. He saw anger and worry in their faces. This first contact was becoming a disaster. Then we need to consult with our government. Thank you for coming. We'll be in touch. Forth's companions shifted. The movement seemed threatening. This meeting is not concluded, Forth declared. Yes, it is, Brooks said firmly. He moved between the aliens and his captain. For a moment, no one moved. Then Forth turned and swept from the room. His companions followed. Their boots clicked on the metal floor. When the aliens were gone, Mitchell slumped into his chair. Well, that went terribly, he muttered. Carter was already checking her notes. They're following a script. All their words about guidance. They've said this before to other species. The question is, Brooks added, what happens to those who said no? Mitchell knew the answer worried him. He activated the communication link to Earth. Priority message to Earth Defense Force. First contact ended poorly. Request immediate consultation. As the crew cleaned up the conference area, no one spoke. They all understood that something had changed. Earth wasn't alone in the universe, but apparently they weren't welcome either. Mitchell thought about the reports from Ambassador Bennett. The Vandari pushing for restrictions. Now the Tellan offering. Guidance that sounded like control. His ship had come out here to explore. To make friends in the galaxy. Instead, they found demands for submission. The aliens thought Earth was too young, too primitive, too dangerous. They were wrong on all counts. Earth wouldn't submit. And if that meant trouble, then trouble was coming. Mitchell just hoped his people were ready for what would follow. The galaxy had given Earth an ultimatum. Now Earth had to decide how to respond. General Kevin Walsh pushed open the heavy doors to the war room. Inside, holographic displays showed star maps and fleet positions. Red dots marked alien ships gathering near the Orion Nebula. The dots were multiplying each day. Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Mitchell looked up from her data tablet. She was the general's best tactical analyst. Her sharp mind had predicted 3 military crises before they happened. "General, the latest intelligence is disturbing," she said. "The Vandari just added 12 battlecruisers to their fleet." Walsh studied the display. "How many ships total now?" 200 combat vessels, plus supply ships and troop carriers." Mitchell highlighted specific formations. "They're organizing into strike groups." The door opened again. Ambassador Bennett hurried in. Her usual neat appearance was disheveled. She clutched a data chip in her hand. "I got it," she said breathlessly. "The Vandari Council meeting recordings." Walsh inserted the chip into the display system. A 3-dimensional recording appeared. Vandari commanders stood in a circle. Their reptilian features were hard to read, but their body language suggested anger. "The translated speech begins now," the computer announced. "The Earth species continues to defy Council wisdom," the tallest Vandari spoke. "Their ships explore restricted zones. Their military grows stronger daily." Another Vandari stepped forward. "We must act before they develop dimensional shields. Our scientists report they are close to that breakthrough." "How close?" asked a third. 6 solar cycles, maybe less." Walsh felt his stomach tighten. Dimensional shields would make Earth nearly invincible. The aliens couldn't allow that. "We propose a containment action," the first Vandari continued. "Strike their outer colonies, destroy their military infrastructure, force compliance." "What about council law?" someone asked from the circle. "We have majority support. 17 species voted yes. 10 abstained. 5 voted no." Bennett slammed her hand on the table. "They're calling it containment, not invasion. They'll claim self-defense." Mitchell pulled up Earth's defensive positions. "Our colonies are vulnerable. We only have limited protection at Jupiter Station and the Saturn mining complex." "When will they attack?" Walsh demanded. Bennett replayed part of the recording. "They mention waiting for their fleet to reach full strength. 2 more weeks, they estimate," Walsh calculated quickly. "That gives us days, not weeks. Their supply? Train is already near Jupiter." The 3 leaders looked at each other grimly. Earth had prepared for this possibility. But preparation felt different when the enemy was actually coming. "We need to warn the president," Walsh said. "And activate our emergency plans." Mitchell was already connecting to Earth's defense network. Screens filled with status reports. Military bases were moving to high alert. Hidden weapon platforms powered up. "What about our allies?" Bennett asked. The Kelvins promised neutrality, at worst. "Neutrality won't stop missiles," Walsh replied. The ambassador's face fell. She had worked for peaceful solutions. Diplomacy was failing her now. Walsh activated a secure channel. "Admiral Hayes, this is General Walsh. Execute protocol. Shadow Shield. We are at pre-war status 1. Hayes's face appeared on screen. "Confirmed, General. All assets moving to defensive positions." Mitchell spoke next. "General, we should consider something unexpected. Speak freely. The Vandari assume we'll defend Earth directly. But what if we strike first at their supply lines?" Walsh raised an eyebrow. It was risky, but sometimes risk was necessary. "Explain your thinking." Mitchell called up new displays. "Their fleet relies on regular resupply. These cargo ships are lightly defended. If we hit them first, their main fleet has to choose. Continue to Earth with limited supplies or return to protect their logistics." Bennett joined the discussion. "That could buy us time, maybe for actual diplomacy." Walsh studied the plan. It had merit, but it would mean starting the war themselves. "The president won't approve a first strike. he said. Not first strike. Mitchell corrected. Preemptive defense, we have recordings of their attack plans. The general nodded slowly. Prepare the proposal, but have regular defensive plans ready too. The next hours blurred together. Orders flowed through military channels. Civilian governments prepared crisis protocols. Earth's secret weapons moved into position. Ambassador Bennett contacted their few alien friends. The Kelvin Council agreed to remain neutral, but offered humanitarian aid if needed. Some Grokan merchants warned Earth about Vandari tactics they had seen before. In the Oval Office, President Rachel Coleman read the intelligence reports. Her hands shook slightly as she signed emergency powers orders. 2 weeks, she murmured. How did we miss this building up? Walsh stood at attention. They planned carefully, ma'am. Multiple deceptions, false diplomatic messages while preparing for war. And if we strike their supply ships first? 50-50 chance it delays them significantly. Maybe causes their council to reconsider. Coleman looked at the faces around her. Secretary of Defense, military leaders, intelligence chiefs, all young compared to the aliens threatening Earth, but all determined. Approve the preemptive operation, she ordered, but limited engagement only. We hit supplies, not their main fleet yet. Walsh saluted. Understood, ma'am. Later, as stars filled the sky above Washington, Walsh and Mitchell reviewed final preparations. Earth's newest stealth destroyers were positioning near alien supply routes. They think they know us, Mitchell said quietly. Primitive, impulsive, divided. They're wrong on all counts, Walsh replied. Will our people be ready when they find out we're at war? Walsh looked at the night sky. Somewhere out there, enemies approached. But Earth had faced difficult times before. They'll be ready. Because they'll understand what's at stake. In space near Jupiter, 5 stealth destroyers went dark. Their special hulls absorbed sensor sweeps. Earth's latest technology, developed in secret, made them invisible to Vandari equipment. Captain Blake Henderson commanded the lead ship. His crew waited in silent readiness. They knew their target. Vandari Supply Convoy Alpha 7. 10 cargo ships bringing ammunition and power cores. Weapons ready, Captain, reported his tactical officer. Wait for the optimal firing solution. No mistakes allowed. The convoy was hours away, but Earth's preparations were nearly complete. When the Vandari came, they would find humans ready, not just to defend, but to fight back. The Council had miscalculated Earth's unity. They misunderstood human innovation. And they were about to learn that even young species could have sharp teeth. Walsh's last order of the day went out to all defense forces. Remember your training. Protect our home. Make them regret the day they threatened Earth. In deep space, the hidden destroyer fleet waited. On Earth, billions prepared for war. And in the Vandari fleet, confidence grew. They still believed this would be easy. They were about to discover how very wrong they were. The emergency lights bathed the White House war room in red. President Rachel Coleman sat at the center of a curved table. Screens surrounded her, showing the solar system defense grid. Earth's moment of truth had arrived. Madam President, General, Walsh began, the Vandari fleet has crossed the Neptune line. They're heading for our colonies. Fleet Admiral Christopher Lee stood beside a tactical display. Their main force is attacking Jupiter Station, but their scouting groups are hitting smaller targets. Coleman's stomach twisted. Real war felt different from simulations and planning sessions. Lives would be lost. History would remember this day. Order all forces to engage, she said firmly. Defensive protocols only. At Jupiter Station, alarms screamed warnings. Defense Captain Lauren Phillips watched 100 alien ships descend on their small outpost. The station's shields glowed bright blue as energy weapons struck. Return. Fire, Phillips commanded. Target their lead vessels. Human railguns opened fire. The new weapons shot metal slugs at incredible speed. No power signatures for aliens to trace. Just deadly kinetic energy. 3 Vandari destroyers lost their shields in the first volley. Direct hits, her gunner reported with surprise. Their shields can't handle our kinetic weapons. The Vandari had planned for energy weapons. Humanity's ballistic approach caught them unprepared. Advantage Earth. Near Saturn, the mines defended themselves with automated gun platforms. Groken workers joined human defenders operating weapons they had secretly modified for higher output. The aliens had underestimated everyone. In deep space, Captain Blake Henderson waited patiently aboard the USS Freedom. His stealth destroyers shadowed the Vandari supply convoy. When alien guards moved to respond to the main battle, Henderson struck. "Fire all tubes!" Torpedoes launched silently. The warheads carried electromagnetic pulse charges. Vandari technology relied heavily on shields and electronics. Perfect targets. 4 supply ships lost power instantly. 2 more suffered critical damage. The convoy scattered. "Message all ships," Henderson ordered. "Battle Plan Omega. Hit and run tactics." His destroyers vanished again, leaving confused Vandari searching empty space. Human stealth technology was generations beyond what aliens expected. Back at Jupiter, Station Phillips faced desperate odds. Her station's weapons had destroyed 5 enemy ships, but 20 more closed in. Then her communication board lit up, cavalry arriving. Her comm officer shouted. From behind Jupiter's largest moon, Earth's hidden reserve fleet emerged. 30 brand new warships, built in secret lunar shipyards. Their hulls were dark gray, absorbing sensor pings. The Vandari fleet commander couldn't believe his tactical display. Where had these ships come from? How had Earth built such vessels without council knowledge? All ships reform defensive positions, the Vandari ordered. But his formation was already broken. Earth's ships attacked with precision. They used wolfpack tactics, coordinating multiple vessels against single targets. Military doctrine developed. From ancient naval warfare on Earth adapted for space, Vandari losses mounted. Their battle cruisers couldn't withstand concentrated fire from smaller, but more maneuverable human ships. After 1 hour of battle, they retreated toward the outer system. At Earth's Defense Command, analysts watched battle data flow in. Success. Reports came from every front. Human planning and tactics proved superior to assumed Vandari experience. "Their military thinking is outdated," Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Mitchell exclaimed. "They fight like ancient armies, linear formations, predictable tactics," Walsh smiled grimly. "They conquered so many species easily they forgot how to face real opposition." The Vandari Fleet Admiral issued emergency broadcasts to his scattered forces. "Regroup at Checkpoint Echo. Minimum safe distance from Earth forces." But human ships pursued, not to destroy the retreating enemy, but to gather intelligence. Earth needed to understand Vandari capabilities better. On the USS Freedom, sensors recorded everything: ship designs, weapon frequencies, communication protocols, knowledge that would prevent future surprises. President Coleman received hourly updates. The initial Vandari attack had failed completely. Human casualties were minimal. Equipment losses were acceptable. But she knew this was just beginning. "Admiral Lee," she asked, "what's our status for continuing operations?" Lee consulted his officers. "All major defensive positions are secure. Our stealth fleet can continue harassing enemy supply lines. The main question is political." "Explain." "We've proven our defense capability, but the Vandari won't surrender easily. This could become a long campaign." Coleman nodded. Earth needed to show strength without appearing as aggressors. The Galactic Council would watch carefully. "Continue defensive operations," she decided. "No pursuit into Vandari space, but make it clear we can protect ourselves." 24 hours after the attack began, the Vandari fleet withdrew beyond Pluto's orbit. Commander Vorth's flagship Judgment maintained communication with Council authorities. "Status report," Vorth demanded. His second-in-command hesitated. "Fleet strength reduced by 30%. Human defenses far exceeded projections. Their technology combinations are unexpected." "Combinations?" "They mix ancient kinetic weapons with advanced electronics. Their ships blend stealth with heavy armor. Everything we thought primitive actually advantages them." Vorth's talons scraped his command chair. This was supposed to be easy. Overwhelm the young species quickly. Force compliance. Instead, Earth had humiliated the Vandari fleet. Back on Earth, celebrations were subdued. Victory felt good, but war meant friends and family in danger. People understood this was not ending soon. At a military hospital in London, wounded soldiers from Jupiter Station received care. Among them was a young pilot who shot down 3 alien fighters. He told reporters, "They came thinking we were children playing with toys. Guess who's playing now?" Walsh received damage reports and victory credits. Humans had destroyed 43 alien warships, captured 6 supply vessels, lost only 7 of their own ships. "The Vandari won't stop here," Mitchell observed. "They believe in their superiority." "Then we teach them humility," Walsh replied. Around the solar system, human defenders prepared for the next attack. New weapons were tested, damaged ships repaired, tactics refined. The Galactic Council received full battle records. Species that assumed Earth was helpless now watched with new respect. The Vandari demanded support. Few offered it. In the war room, Coleman reviewed psychological profiles of Vandari leadership. Their culture valued strength above all. Showing weakness was shameful. They would likely attack again soon to save face. "We embarrassed them," she told her advisors. "They'll try harder next time." But Earth had momentum now. The defenders who had been underestimated stood stronger. They had tasted victory against seemingly superior foes. Their technology worked. Their courage held firm. In deep space, human ships patrolled the outer system. The old idea of humanity being prey was fading. On Earth and its colonies, people began to believe in their strength. The Vandari had tested Earth's defenses and failed. But this was just the opening chapter of a larger story. As night fell on victory celebrations, commanders knew the real test was coming. Earth had survived its first galactic war. Now it needed to prove it could win. Ambassador Daniel Morgan stepped off the shuttle onto the Galactic Council station. 6 months had passed since Earth's defensive victory. Now Morgan carried new credentials, not just as Earth's representative, but as their negotiator for peace, terms. The station buzzed with activity. Species that had once dismissed Earth now studied humans carefully, some with respect, others with fear, many with calculation. Morgan walked through corridors lined with beings of countless shapes and sizes. He wore his best diplomatic uniform. His staff followed close behind, including Commander Lauren Phillips, hero of Jupiter Station's defense. At the council chamber entrance, Counselor Zrax waited. The massive reptilian being blocked their path deliberately. "Human ambassador," Zrax hissed. "You enter as a problem for this council." Morgan met the alien's gaze steadily. "I enter as Earth's representative in peace negotiations. Per your invitation." Zrax's tail swished with annoyance, but he moved aside. The council had voted. Peace talks would begin. Inside the chamber, Morgan saw dramatic changes. Empty seats marked where former council members used to sit. The Vandari delegation was notably smaller. Their military failures had cost them political influence. President Rachel Coleman appeared on a holographic display. She addressed the council directly for the first time in Galactic Council history. "Members of the council," she began simply. "Earth defeated an unprovoked attack. We proved our right to exist as equals. Now we're here to ensure lasting peace." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some species appreciated the directness. Others were shocked by Earth's confident tone. Counselor Vorth stood up. He had been commander of the defeated Vandari fleet. His scales were duller now, indicating stress or shame. "The Vandari Empire maintains its sovereign right to police developing species," Morgan responded immediately. "The Vandari Empire lost that right when police work became invasion." Shocked silence. No one spoke to the Vandari so bluntly. But Earth had earned that privilege through battle. The Kelvin ambassador moved forward on his wooden legs. His tree-like appearance was the most alien, yet his actions had been friendly to Earth. "Perhaps," he suggested in his creaking voice, "we should discuss new arrangements. Old systems failed everyone. Morgan smiled gratefully at his ally. We agree. Earth proposes fundamental changes to Council operations. For the next 2 hours, Morgan presented Earth's peace plan. Key points included ending all military actions and sanctions against Earth, creating Council rules that applied equally to all species, opening trade routes for mutual benefit, sharing some technologies while respecting patents, establishing an independent peacekeeping force. The Vandari rejected every point loudly, but their protests rang hollow. Other species were listening to Earth's logic. During recess, Morgan met privately with several delegates. The Grokan traders admitted they too had feared Vandari control. The silicon-based Xanthari confessed to secret agreements that kept them from opposing orders. When sessions resumed, the Kelvin announced surprising news. My government authorizes me to support Earth's proposals. Furthermore, we declare the Vandari containment doctrine invalid and harmful to galactic society. Other species began shifting positions. The Vandari's military defeat had weakened their influence dramatically. More delegates spoke of concerns they had hidden for generations. Morgan presented Earth's final terms. We demand full diplomatic recognition, a permanent seat in Council decisions, and compensation for damages during the attack. Compensation shocked the chamber. Demanding payment from the mighty Vandari? Unthinkable. Yet Earth had the military results to back their demands. Fourth, stood again. The Vandari Empire will not pay tribute to a primitive species. Then the Vandari Empire should expect continued military losses, Morgan replied calmly. We're prepared for a longer conflict if necessary. Behind Vorth, other Vandari delegated shifted nervously. Their economy was already suffering from the military disaster. Extended war could ruin them. The Grokan delegate raised a claw. Perhaps a compromise? The Vandari acknowledge Earth's sovereignty. In return, Earth stops operations against Vandari supply lines. Morgan considered. He had instructions from the president that such a deal was acceptable minimum. We accept, he announced, provided the Council formally recognizes Earth as an equal sovereign member. The vote took 3 hours. In the end, Earth's proposal passed. 67 species voted yes, 23 voted no, 15 abstained. The Vandari were among the no votes, but they stood alone among major powers. As the gavel fell, marking the historic decision, Morgan felt the weight of history. Earth had fought for its freedom and won. Now it had peace on equal terms. Commander, Phillips smiled proudly. She had fought in space so diplomats could win at the negotiating table. Both victories were essential. The formal signing happened under the watchful eyes of assembled species. When Morgan inscribed Earth's seal on the treaty, he felt a responsibility to generations yet to come. After ceremonies ended, the Vandari delegation approached. Vorth extended a talon reluctantly. Our dispute is ended. The treaty is signed. The Vandari honor agreements. Morgan shook his claw carefully. Earth holds no grudges. We look forward to cooperation going forward. It was diplomatic language. Both species knew grudges would last for generations. But peace was more important than old anger. During the celebration on the observation deck, Morgan looked out at stars visible from every angle. Representatives from friendly species surrounded Earth's delegation. The Kelvin ambassador offered traditional tree wine. You have changed the galaxy, Ambassador Morgan. No species will assume weakness from appearance again. Morgan thought of all the humans who made this possible. Scientists who developed advanced technology secretly. Soldiers who bravely faced a greater force. Politicians who maintained unity when threatened. We only secured our right to exist among equals, he responded. Later, as his shuttle returned to Earth, Morgan drafted his final report. The war had ended. Peace had begun. But Earth's place in galactic society had fundamentally changed. Back on Earth, people watched celebrations in every major city. Children who had practiced emergency drills now played in the streets safely. The alien threat was over. In her office, President Coleman signed the peace treaty ratification. 5 months of conflict had established Earth's position for centuries to come. General Walsh reviewed military readiness with his staff. Peace was good, but Earth wouldn't disband its defenses. The galaxy had too many species for permanent trust. Captain Blake Henderson's stealth destroyer fleet returned to Earth orbit. Crews received heroes' welcomes. Their secret weapons had proved decisive. Humanity's innovation had overcome supposed experience. At the Lunar Military Academy, instructors updated textbooks. The war had provided real data on interstellar combat. Human tactics could be refined for future needs. Years later, Morgan's granddaughter would read about that day in school. How Earth refused to be controlled. How humans proved themselves through courage and cleverness. How one planet changed the balance of galactic power. The Galactic Council had warned about Earth. They called humans dangerous and primitive. They were half right. Earth was dangerous to the old order where fear determined relationships. But in being underestimated, humanity found its path to the stars. Not as vassals or subjects, but as equals among the cosmic community. Earth had earned its place the hard way. The Council learned too late that dismissing a species based on assumptions was their greatest error. Now the galaxy adjusted to a new power, one that had defended itself through strength and secured peace through determination. Morgan looked at Earth's familiar blue marble, one final time before sleeping. His children would grow up in a different galactic society, one where Earth's flag flew proudly among the stars, where human ships explored freely, where no one would mistake humanity for weak again. The warning about Earth had been correct, just not in the way the Council expected. Earth was indeed a force to be reckoned with. Now the entire galaxy knew it.